Right now, 4 companies are fighting a war most people never notice. The prize isn't money. It's your mind, every question you ask, every word you write, every decision you quietly hand to a machine. And in the last 90 days, the model almost everyone calls the best lost its crown. You're probably still using it. You just don't know it's already behind. 4 names run this fight: ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok. Most of the rankings you've seen are already out of date, written by people repeating last year's verdict and calling it news. So set aside what you think you know. Over the next 20 minutes, you'll see what each model is built to do, where each one quietly fails, and which one actually earns your trust in 2026, including the one its own makers admit they're afraid of. By the end, you won't be asking which AI is best. You'll know which one is best for you. Start with the empire that built this entire era. You already know this one: ChatGPT. More than 400 million people open it every single week. That stopped being a product a long time ago. That's infrastructure. When someone says, "Just ask the AI," this is what they picture. Under the hood now sits a model called GPT 5.5, but its real weapon was never raw intelligence. It's range. One window writes your email, reads a 40-page PDF, fixes a spreadsheet formula, paints you an image, talks back to you out loud, and quietly runs small tasks on its own while you do something else. It remembers your past conversations. It learns how you like to work. For most people, it has quietly become the first place they go when they don't know something, a reflex, not a tool. No other product covers that much ground in one place. For most people, on most days, that breadth is the entire game. It's the safe pick, the one that's never wrong to recommend. But the company behind it has quietly shifted its gaze. As it races toward one of the biggest public listings in tech history, more of its focus has moved from you toward the enterprise, the businesses that pay the real money. It still does almost everything competently. But competent at everything increasingly loses to excellent at one thing, and that's the door its rivals walked through. And breadth is not the same thing as depth. The people who use this technology for a living, the developers, the writers, the analysts who stare at it 8 hours a day, have been quietly drifting somewhere else. To understand why, you have to meet the model almost nobody outside that world talks about, the one that just took the crown without making a sound. Claude. It doesn't buy billboards, it doesn't trend. And in 2026, it sits at number 1 on the intelligence rankings researchers actually take seriously, ahead of ChatGPT. That didn't happen by luck. While everyone else chased the mass market, the company behind it aimed straight at the people who push these tools the hardest: the coders. Today, Claude is the engine inside the coding tools professional developers reach for first. It writes cleaner code, catches more of its own mistakes, and explains its reasoning better than anything else on the market. This isn't a fan's opinion. Google's own chief executive said it on the record that his company is, in his words, a bit behind on exactly this kind of work. When the giant admits it's losing a race, pay attention to who's winning it, and it has stopped just answering. Its newest versions can take over your screen and drive your other apps for you, working through a real task from start to finish while you watch. It isn't only code either. Hand Claude a long, tangled document and ask for careful, nuanced writing, and it tends to catch the edge cases the others smooth right over. So why isn't it a household name? Because it never really tried to be. No splashy ads, no viral stunts. And for a long time, it was simply harder to reach than the app already sitting on your phone. It won the experts and let the headlines go to everyone else. So here's the quiet truth of 2026. The most capable model is no longer the most popular one, which leaves an obvious question hanging. If Claude is this good, why hasn't it taken over the world? Hold that thought, because the answer has almost nothing to do with the model and everything to do with something already sitting in 3 billion pockets. That something is Google. For 2 years, Gemini was the punchline, the company that owned the internet and somehow kept losing the AI race anyway. That era is over. Gemini now leads the entire field on the hardest reasoning tests built, the ones designed to be almost impossible to memorize your way through. It reads enormous amounts of text in a single pass, far more than its rivals can hold at once. Entire books, whole code bases, hours of transcripts, all in one breath. And it carries a weapon none of them can match. It's already inside Gmail, Docs, Drive, Android, and Search, the tools billions of people never close. You don't go and download Gemini. You wake up one morning and it's simply there, woven into everything you already use. Google even built a version that runs in the cloud around the clock, working while you sleep. Then it undercut almost everyone on price, betting that once you're inside its world, you'll never leave. But think about what that convenience runs on. The same company reading your search, your mail, and your calendar is now the one answering your questions. The more it helps, the more of you it sees. And that's a trade you make without ever clicking agree. There's just one crack in the armor. On the work developers care about most, the long, autonomous tasks, even Google admits it's still playing catch-up. Power and polish, but a step behind the leaders where it counts. So Gemini wins on reach and reasoning. But reach has a dark side, and we'll come back to it, because the most convenient AI is rarely the most honest one. First, the wild card, the model that refuses to play by anyone's rules, Grok, built by Elon Musk's company, and built to be everything the others are not. While the rest filter, soften, and hedge, Grok answers blunt. Its real edge is time. It's wired straight into the live feed of one of the loudest platforms on Earth, so it can tell you what's happening this minute, not what was true last year. A story breaks. The others are frozen on old information until someone updates them. Grok is already reading the room in real time. For breaking news and the raw pulse of the internet, nothing else comes close. But that same wiring is its weakness. An AI plugged into the internet's loudest room inherits that room's chaos, its rumors, its rage, its blind spots. What's loud and what's true are not the same thing. A rumor that's trending hard can look exactly like a fact when a model is drinking straight from that fire hose. The speed is the feature. The speed is also the bug. And its most powerful version sits behind a price most people will never pay, hundreds of dollars a month, walled off from the crowd. Grok is the model you reach for when you want an answer fast and unfiltered. It is not the one you trust with something that has to be right. So that's the lineup, the empire, the quiet champion, the awakened giant, the wild card. 4 models, each genuinely the best at something and none of them best at everything, which would be a clean place to end. Except every ranking I just gave you rests on a single number, and that number is the biggest open secret in this whole industry. Here's what no company puts on a thumbnail. The scores they fight over, the benchmarks, the leaderboards, the "we beat them by 2 points" announcements only measure how a model does on a fixed set of tests. Tests the companies are free to study for. Picture it like a student who's seen the exam in advance. A model can top every chart and still feel worse in your hands, because your real work looks nothing like a test. And the lead flips almost monthly. The best AI in winter is in 3rd place by spring. Any video that hands you one winner and walks away is selling you a photograph of a race that never stops moving. The leaderboard is the marketing. The only score that matters is the one no leaderboard measures: which model is best at your work in your hands today. And there's a second trap: quieter, more expensive. And almost nobody warns you about it. The trap is the ecosystem. Each of these companies wants far more than your monthly fee. They want you living inside their walls, your files, your history, your habits, all in one place until leaving feels impossible. Think about everything you've poured into one assistant already. The way you've taught it to talk, the projects it remembers, the prompts you've refined for months. All of that is invisible glue. That generous free tier that feels like a gift? It's the door. Once your whole workflow runs through one assistant, switching to a better model next year stops being a choice and becomes a cost. The convenient AI and the best AI are usually not the same thing. And the gap between them is exactly where your money quietly disappears. So before you commit, ask the only question that actually matters, not which is most powerful. But which one are you willing to be stuck with? Strip away the noise and it gets simple. If you want one tool that does almost everything well and you never want to think about it again, that's ChatGPT. If you write, code, or work with serious documents and you want the sharpest mind in the room, that's Claude. If your life already runs on Google and you want real power without paying a cent, that's Gemini. And if you live on the news and need answers raw and right now, that's Grok. Here's the move almost nobody makes. Most of them have a free tier. Take one real task from your week and run it through two of them side by side. The right answer stops being an argument and becomes obvious in about 10 minutes. There is no single winner because you are not a benchmark. The right AI is the one that fits the work in front of you. Pick one. Learn it until you hit its limits. Then, and only then, go look at the rest. But there's one last thing. The part these companies say quietly when they think the public isn't really listening. The most advanced models of 2026 don't just answer questions anymore. They write working software. They find security flaws faster than expert humans. They run tasks on their own for hours, unsupervised. And the company sitting at the very top of the rankings, the maker of the most capable model on Earth, published a warning this year that its own systems may soon become too powerful to fully control. Read that again. The people building the smartest AI alive are telling you out loud that they aren't entirely sure they can keep holding the leash. And this isn't a far-off problem for engineers. The same skill that finds a weakness in order to fix it can find that weakness in order to break it. The tools getting this powerful are the same ones now sitting in your pocket. That's the piece missing from every "which AI should I use" video. The real question was never just which one is best. It's how much of your own thinking you're ready to hand to something improving faster than anyone can explain. You don't have to fear it, but you do have to understand it. Because this race is not slowing down, and the next time the crown changes hands, it may not wait 90 days. If this gave you a clearer picture than the last 10 comparisons you scrolled past, that's the entire point of this channel. The full picture in 20 minutes, no hype. Subscribe and the next breakdown lands while everyone else is still arguing about last month's winner.